Well, now to tonight's special report. Food security is one of the world's greatest challenges, growing more with less land and less water while trying to keep up with a booming population. Right now, there are more than 85,000 farm businesses in Australia. On average, each of them produces enough food to feed 600 people. But the bulk of these farms probably aren't where you think they are. Most of our food comes from the edges of our cities. Melbourne's food bowl, for example, provides a staggering 80% of the city's fresh produce. But as the city expands, that's under threat. By 2050, the amount of food the area produces could have halved. It's a similar story across the country. Rural and regional correspondent Dominique Schwartz travelled to the farms around Adelaide, where the state government is introducing tough measures to stop urban sprawl and protect the food chain.
It's one hell of a veggie patch. The Mussolino family harvests 2.5 million lettuces a year from this one block in Virginia in Adelaide's northern suburbs.
You won't get any fresher than that.
And it's just a 30-minute drive to the city's central market.
We all love our fresh produce, but how much? Are we prepared to have our backyard shrink and our cities and suburbs grow up, not out, to protect our metropolitan food bowls? Growers say that's what's needed for Australia to avoid a fresh food famine.
So I would argue that these areas of fertile farmland on the fringes of our cities are going to become much more important into the future.
Scott Samwell is a third-generation vegetable farmer at Mount Barker in the Adelaide Hills.
We grow Brussels sprouts, which is our main crop.
He's also the national horticulture industry's Grower of the Year.
This soil is probably some of the best in the district.
30 years ago, there were scores of sprouts growers in the hills, but Lee Samwell, Scott's uncle, says only a couple are left. Today, what's sprouting are housing estates. Linked by freeway to Adelaide, Mount Barker is no longer a rural hamlet, but a satellite town, one of Australia's fastest growing centres.
When we first came out to Bald Hills Road, we were the only property out here, the only house out here. And now, as you can see, there are houses everywhere.
So do you feel like the last man standing? An outpost?
Well, we are in a way. Everywhere around us is going to be developed, yeah.
But the Samwell farm now has state government protection. It lies within South Australia's environment and food production areas, which cover 8,000 square kilometres. From April next year, most rural land within those zones can't be subdivided for residential housing. The protected areas have bipartisan support, and only Parliament can change them.
It's about protecting some of our best lands for food production and making sure that we safeguard our farmers and we give them that certainty for their future.
I think it's really important that all of Australia's states now introduce much stronger protection for farmland on the city fringe. Did you get many complaints from people?
Dr Rachel Carey has led an extensive study on Melbourne's shrinking food bowl.
I think Baxter's pretty much fully developed as far as the urban growth is allowed at the moment, so there's people pushing to increase that urban growth boundary.
She wants long-term certainty for city fringe farmers such as Tash Shields.
I think we're going to be out of leaks very shortly.
We should be planning for at least 50 years and beyond in terms of saying there are areas that will not be touched.
As Australia battles drought and climate change, city food bowls like this are increasingly important because they have the ability to be climate-proofed in a way in which other farmland cannot.
In Mount Barker, the Samwells have ready access to 3 key ingredients often not available to farmers further afield: labour, markets and an abundance of recycled household wastewater. North of Adelaide, work is underway to more than double the amount of treated wastewater available for irrigation, opening up new areas for intensive horticulture. The plan is to create a $1 billion a year agribusiness export hub. But not all growers welcome the state's protection of food production areas.
There were those who would like to see development because they'd like the opportunity to subdivide their land potentially one day to houses and the economic benefits that could potentially bring.
Selling up and moving further out can certainly reap benefits. Ray Taylor is a 4th-generation vegetable grower in Queensland. His family started farming just 11 kilometres from Brisbane's CBD, but every generation has moved as the city expands, and now their main operation is at Stanthorpe, 225 kilometres southwest of the capital.
That enables us as a family to go and find a larger parcel of land in another area, and obviously we can grow the business in so we can employ more people.
Here they plant 25 million vegetables a year. But he says water security is a massive issue.
We've got 27 dams on the property. This is sitting at about 60% capacity. It's probably one of my better dams at the moment due to the dry weather.
And what impact does that have on production?
We're down about 30% on production this year.
Back in South Australia, the Primary Industries Minister makes no apologies for restricting urban sprawl.
The government have to draw a line. We have to give a secure future to our farmers and food production in South Australia.
In 20 years' time, where's the food going to come from? I mean, if we don't keep doing it and looking after it, we might be in trouble.